Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're trying out a bunch of first impressions, a whole lot of new to me products, and some just brand new products in general, trying new foundation, concealer, a new serum primer that I think might be the star of the show, an eyeshadow palette, the works. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching. And don't forget to subscribe because that's the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see a full face of first impressions and a tutorial on everything on my face right now, stay tuned. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to prime my skin. I have the Clarins Pore Control, Pore Minimizing, Smooth Skin Texture, Healthy Radiance Serum. But when I first swatched this on my hand, it was a little thicker than a true serum would be. Like, you see how thick that looks? It definitely felt more like a serum primer. And based on the smell and the texture, it actually reminds me of the Double Tenseur from Sisley, which is like the ridiculously expensive $200 serum primer. No, I did not waste $200 on it. I had a sample of it many, many years ago that I nursed and used for like 2 weeks straight. They gave me a lot. But it feels a lot like that. Gives some nice slip to the skin, and it definitely blurs and smooths. So I haven't worn it under makeup yet, but I've been using it for, I want to say about 2 weeks. It was sent to me, and I really like the way it makes my skin feel, but I have yet to use it under makeup, and it really feels like it would be a good primer. I did choose to use this because it is pore control, oil control, etc., because I'm going to be using a hydrating foundation. This is the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation Hyaluronic Acid Longwear in the shade 40 Neutral Haze. It looks like it'll be a good match. It might be a little dark, but we'll figure it out. I'm going to take that on the flat side of my face and body sponge from Real Techniques, and I think it's a little yellow. Like, I feel like it's a little warm, but I feel like we can make it work. So I'm not mad at it. Yeah, that actually is not a bad match. It's definitely, I'm not neutral. I'm definitely a cool tone. And right now I'm a little sunburned. So I feel like I thought this might be too dark for me, but it's actually looking pretty good. Because it has hyaluronic in it and it does have oil in it, it is not a water-based foundation, there is a chance that it could oxidize. So I'm going to just let it dry down before I adjust the shade. But as of right now, I think that's a really nice match, which I was surprised about. Yeah, that's really nice. For concealer, I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in C6.5. In New York, I used to use 6.3, which only goes to show you how fair I was in New York. And this actually looks a little light, which I think will be okay because the foundation is a little darker than I wanted. But I'm going to go in with a very small amount and using the same sponge, just going to blend that in. Yeah, the combo is nice together. All right, I don't have a new powder, but I do have a new powder brush. So I'm going to take the 10-year brush from Base Blue. I finally got my hands on this. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take that into a combination of 2 powders. I'm going to start with the Jouer Hydrate and setting powder. And I'm just going to hit that up in the center of the face. Really just to set everything down. I don't want to like cake this on, but I do just want to like make sure everything is set. And then everywhere I want a little more coverage, I'm going to go into the One Size in Light 1R. This is a pressed powder foundation. I really like the brush. I'm going to see how it feels for bronzer, because right now this shape is very bronzery for me. Although it does say you can use this for like everything, but I like it. So I don't know what it is about the combination of foundation, primer, powder, and concealer, but I'm getting a little bit of the makeup breaking down on my nose, like a tiny bit. So I am going to take like a tiny bit of concealer and just blend that in a little bit. All right, I'm going to do a very quick brow today. Like, I really want to try out the fluffy brow. So I'm going to grab the 24-Hour Brow Styler from Benefit. This is a clear brow gel, no color to it whatsoever. So I'm just going to use this to get my brows to stand up straight. And we will see if we want to do anything else to them. Today we're going to go for that like trending, fluffy brow, just kind of everything standing up. So it's definitely cute. It is definitely a fluffy brow. I think I'm going to stick to things that have a little bit of color to them. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of a darker brow powder and just kind of pull that through to darken up the arches a bit. Should probably not apply the brow powder to wet brow gel. You should probably do that first, but you do what you gotta do. All right, I'm gonna go prime my eyelids off camera and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Eyes are primed and I'm gonna go into bronzer. I'm gonna use the same brush just to chisel the cheeks. I will be using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium Deep, which is Brandon's setting powder. And I'm gonna use that on the cheeks today. Yeah, this shape is really nice for getting a nice diffused bronzer application. Like, if see how it's just like perfectly hugging the cheek? All right, and now that we have the bronzer on and the face is a little more sculpted and feeling a little warm, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go into the Nearly Neutral blush from Rare Beauty, and I'm gonna apply that right onto the cheeks. And taking the Rose Quartz highlighter from Jouer, I'm actually going to use the back of that same brush and just pull that over the cheek, flip the blush brush around, and pull it down, just so we get this like glowy, highlighted, blushy toned cheek. And now that that's done, we are ready for eyes. When I saw the Blooms palette from Alter Ego, my mind instantly jumped to the Natasha Denona Lila palette, which I have had for a very long time. So we're gonna do a look out of this palette today. Nice and simple, very wearable, and we're gonna do it inspired by the Lila palette, because this one's like 16 bucks and that one was like 160. So on a fluffy brush, I'm gonna start with the shade Azalea up here. And I'm gonna tap off the brush because I don't want a ton of product on there. And I am going to gently buff that above the socket of the eye and into the crease. Next, I'm going to go a little lower into Violet, which is the dark purple of the palette. And I'm going to concentrate that in the outer portion of the eye, really adding some depth and some smoky darkness to this outer corner. Next, I'm going to go into Snapdragon right here on the very tip of that brush. And I'm just going to blend out the crease a little and diffuse those two colors together a little better. For the lid, I think we're going to go pinky. So I'm going to grab Petunia in the very center, which is a peachy champagne with a rose gold like duochrome. I am going to mist that color and apply that all over the lid. And once that color's down, going into a mixture of both of those shades, I'm just going to darken and feather the edges. All right, I'm going to do this on this eye, throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and I'm not loving it, I'm going to be honest. I like the way the mattes are performing. The shimmer I had to build up like 3 times, and it just wasn't quite enough. So I'm going to take just the tip of that brush, and I'm going to go into Lily right here, and I'm going to take that to highlight the inner corner. Yeah, that is a much nicer shade. I think that Petunia shade is just a little, I don't know, it's a duochrome, but it's not pigmented enough in my opinion, that I don't think it does enough. And then taking the same brush I used before with whatever colors are on it, I'm just going to smoke out the lower lash line. So I don't want to go too crazy in the waterline, but I'm going to take Empire from Urban Decay. It is a dark, dark purple, and I'm going to throw that in the outer portion of the waterline. And while that's still wet, I'm going to smudge one more time. So the mattes are great. The shimmer I used on the inner corner I like, but I'm not loving the formula that I did on the lid. I am going to just mist it so that it doesn't get messed up at all, and so that it can kind of like, smooth everything over a tiny bit. And other than that, I think the face is a little flat. So I'm going to grab a little bit of a darker blush. This is the Wanderlust blush from Buxom. I'm going to add a tiny bit of this just to warm up the cheek a little bit more, because I feel like I was getting a little washed out without a little more blush. Yeah, that's much better. Needs to be blended, but it's much better. Yeah, you see how that extra pinky on the cheek just kind of brings the whole face together. And I'm going to be super predictable and go in with the same lip combo I've been wearing in pretty much every video because it is just absolutely my favorite. It is the Dominique Cosmetics Crush Lip Liner with the Rare Beauty Nearly Neutral Balm on top. And that is the finished look, and honestly, I don't think there's anything that I don't like how it all came together. Like, the eyes look really pretty. I just felt like the formula needed a little bit of work, and I really just think it was this color, because when I used this one, it was much more impressive. Like, you can kind of see, this one's just a little more subtle. So I think it was just more like the choice of color and not so much the formula, but I will have to play around and see. Let me know your thoughts down below on everything we tried today. I think right now what I'm liking the most is this combination of the primer with the foundation. Like, I just like the way the skin looks. I feel like I'm very glowy today. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!